Yo, yo, yo. So my name's Dane Poor, and last night I made a couple of posts and I'm truly amazed at the response it got. A lot of kind people commented and people were asking if they could share my story. So I thought, why not make a YouTube video? Then it's easier to share, it's easier to access for people, and I hope it can help inspire people for change, and I hope it can truly make you realise how important and powerful nutrition can be. So in my adolescent years, I consumed an unhealthy diet. Like most of the children in the world population, I lived on fried foods, refined foods, and I didn't have too many problems because of this in my younger days, apart from anxiety, and I was getting kicked out of school. So at that time period I was hanging out with people who were older than me and I was being exposed to drugs, but I just thought this was, you know, it was normal because so many people were doing it. And then when I was about 14, I started drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes and smoking cannabis. This was a regular happening. Me and my friends would all group together and, you know, just get blazed and completely out of our minds. And then when I was about 15, I first experimented with ecstasy, and I was truly amazed with the experience, and how incredible it made me feel. So I craved it more. I started doing it on every weekend, and then even more. It built up until I was doing like seven ecstasy pills at times, and then I started using other drugs, ketamine, cocaine, and MDMA, and hallucinogens, and from all of that, you know, there's just this unhealthy lifestyle. I begun to have severe paranoia, drug-induced psychosis. My anxiety was terrible. I found it hard to socialise without having these substances or alcohol inside my system. I was getting arrested. I was waking up in hospitals. And I was getting in, you know, violent disputes with people. I was even carrying weapons on me because I was constantly, you know, getting involved in these crazy situations. I was worried that people were going to come from behind and stab me in the back. So I wanted to protect myself. And yeah, it was, you know, thankfully I always had a guilty conscience, and I would never want to do that to somebody, and I never wanted to go to prison because I just thought it was stupid. But yeah, I made some mistakes. At times I was selling drugs to feed, you know, my habit, and it all eventually just, you know, built up into this massive storm. When I was 18 years old, me and some friends had a problem with a gang in Brighton, and we had a big, you know, big fight, big street fight one night, and I was intoxicated, swaying all over the place, and I walked away after, and I got attacked with a wine bottle by one of the girlfriends of the people we were having an argument with, supposedly anyway. I didn't even realise. But after that period, like, I had 60 stitches in my head. My family came to the hospital. They were in tears. You know, they were sick of seeing me constantly in these situations. And a month later, my mum asked if I wanted to move to Cornwall to get me away from my lifestyle. And she sold her business and we moved down there, and I'm truly grateful for that. But I was stupidly still using drugs. I was stupidly still drinking. I was going down to Brighton, getting a train down. I was on all of these medications, anxiety medications, sleeping medications. My diet was terrible. I wasn't exercising. And then when I was about 21, I ended up in hospital one evening, drug-related causes, and I just, you know, I said to myself, you have really got to, you know, sort your life out, because it's just going too far now. So I decided to stop taking the drugs. When I did that, I was laying in my bedroom for about 3 days. I felt terrible. I was shaking, sweating, hallucinating. I was having hot baths just to try and make me feel, you know, some sense of relief. But I got through it, and then I was hearing about meditation, how it could help. So I was seeing Russell Brand talking about meditation because he recovered from his drug problem, and he said, you know, it just really helped him with his progress. So I went to a group meditation session. I was terrified, but we all sat in a circle. We talked about our problems and focused on our breath, and I practiced it consistently, and it really did help me accept my problems and stop me from fighting myself. My mind became calmer, so did my body, and it was truly amazing. So from there I stopped the smoking. I then went out one evening and I was rude to somebody when I was drunk, and because I was training my awareness, I think I was able to view it as like, again, I just said to myself, what are you doing? You need to stop this. So I literally just stopped everything. I started running along the beach because I knew that I needed to get healthier and fitter. And the first time that I went for a run, I literally collapsed on the floor, like asthmatic breathing, black mucus expelling from my lungs, but I consistently kept training daily. I was coming home, I was having fried breakfast, and I knew that wasn't helping me, so I thought, okay, I'll explore diet now. And I tried some fad diets that made me feel terrible. And I internally knew that there was more. I was like, there's no way that I'm supposed to feel like this. I'm not designed just to, you know, feel miserable all of the time, depressed. And so about a month or so later, my friend recommended a vegan diet to me, and I started researching it. And I was a bit skeptical at first because I'd always been taught that I needed protein from animal products and you know, calcium from milk to have strong bones. I mean, I even worked in a butcher's at one point. I was just in jobs I hated, but anyway, that's another story. But yeah, I was a little bit confused with the information I was reading, but I decided just to go for it anyway. What did I have to lose? And honestly, after 3 days, like, I had so much energy. My eczema cleared up. My depression was non-existent. I was eating lots of fruits, lots of whole grains and vegetables, and my recovery rate after training improved. My sleep was much better. My anxiety was, you know, my mental focus was amazing, which allowed me to learn how to socialise sober again. And I got a job as a lifeguard. I went to college and trained to be a personal trainer, and I studied sports nutrition, all of which I never could have done before. And then about a year and a half in, I ran my first ever 10-mile race, and there was a lot of hills. It was really tough. I came 3rd place with a time of 1 hour and 3 minutes, which really reinforced this belief within me that what I was doing was right. I then booked a marathon a couple of months later, and I felt so physically strong, on top of the world at the start line, and I ran that and came 2nd place with a time of 2 hours and 53 minutes. I'm now training to get my time down to a sub 2:20 marathon, and I want to win Brighton Marathon and go back to where it all started. And I want to win an Ironman as well. Those are 2 massive goals that I have. But yeah, I mean, it's just transformed my life so much. I feel incredible, and I learned about the environmental impact, and I saw slaughterhouse footage, and it's not right. It's not right to be doing that to animals. So yeah, that's my story. I hope it can help inspire some of you for change. And if you've got any questions, if you're feeling depressed, anxious, or you're trying to get off medications, you're trying to stop drugs and drinking and smoking, you know, just send me a message. I'm happy to help at any time for free. It's what I'm passionate about. And always question what you've been taught. That is one of the biggest things that I've learned in my transformation process. Always question what you've been taught. Anyway guys, that's me, and I'll see you for the next video. See you later. Peace out.